Data, there's nothing on the screen.
That is not entirely correct. While it is true the display is currently blank, this emptiness has a poetic meaning. Therefore, it cannot be considered nothing as such.
Says who?
The ancient Deucedarians. Much of their poetry contains such lacunae or empty spaces. Often these pauses measured several days in length, during which poet and audience were encouraged to fully acknowledge the emptiness of the experience.
I can remember a few lectures from Starfleet Academy that seemed that way.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Fully Functional, TNG Podcast. I'm Maggie, joined by Jeff and Dory.
Yo.
Jeff and I are Star Trek veterans, and Dory is a newly minted full Trekkie, and we are taking her on her first journey through Star Trek The Next Generation. We're in the home stretch now, Season 7. Today we're discussing the episode Interface. Original air date is October 2nd, 1993. And as always, we'll take it to Dory for the recap.
Okay, so we begin with Geordi climbing around the Enterprise, notably without his visor on. And then there's a fire. But the fire doesn't really seem to faze him. And then we realize JK, Geordi's doing VR. So this is like intense VR. It feels very real to him. Mm-hmm. So Riker tells Geordi. So this VR thing is basically a probe. They send the probe places. Geordi gets hooked up to it, and it's like he's the probe basically. Mm-hmm. Okay. So Riker tells Geordi that he would like to get the probe out of the Jeffries tube and onto the launch bay before they reach Wait, I wrote down phonetically how to say it, and I still think I wrote it wrong.
Yeah, margarine.
It was like,
right?
It was like Marigini. Something like that. Marigini 7 or something like that.
You know what's crazy? I watched the episode like a couple hours ago, and I don't remember.
That's because the planet is not important at all.
Yeah.
It's not,
I don't even think they mentioned it later.
They mentioned it, I think, 2 or 3 times the episode, mm-hmm. But I was like, I need to write it phonetically because I will never remember. And I feel like even when I was reading it, I'm like, that doesn't sound right. I think there's like another anyways. Okay, so the probe has been basically vibing well with Geordi so far, and but they think it's because of the visor. He can like tap into his cerebral cortex like a little bit better than basically everyone else. So like the experience is more real. It's a bit more like there. So Geordi probe sees himself in the reflection on the wall, and he's like, wow, forgot how handsome I am.
Yeah.
Like, Geordi.
And the reflection is like just a little boxy probe robot thing.
Yeah, so I'm like, I'm confused by this line, but
I think he was being sarcastic.
But yeah, so then that's the cold open. Then we go to the credits, and I was like, that's actually kind of a wild cold open for them to end it with Geordi being like, I forgot how handsome I am.
It is like, it's an interesting premise setup, I think.
It is.
Yeah.
Because like Maggie and I talked about this. Like we usually skip this episode, I think both of us do. Mm-hmm. But the premise starting out is like, oh, it seems neat. This could be cool.
Yeah, it's. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, Dory disagrees.
I don't think I've watched this episode like in a literal decade.
Because
I
tracks.
always skip it.
Yeah, it's. Yeah, I would not. I'm not interested in watching this episode again. Okay, so the Enterprise is responding to a distress call from science vessel Ramon, which is apparently trapped inside the turbulent atmosphere of an unusual gas giant. I wrote plant, but I think it's planet.
Yeah,
no, an unusual gas giant plant. That makes sense.
And they are going to use the experimental interface probe. Hey, that's the name of the episode.
Holy shit!
In their attempt to rescue the crew. So the Ramon crew were supposed to sample the atmosphere and then return to orbit, but like obviously something happened. and they can't tell if the crew is alive. So Picard is like, Geordi, can you... he's like, can you, like, send the probe down, basically? Did I write control? No, that's not what I wrote. I do not know what this word is. But basically, like, the probe goes down to the Ramon, basically, and, oh, are you, like, good to do it? And I don't know. Honestly, I don't know that one word that I wrote, so it kind of messes up this whole sentence, and I'm not entirely sure.
Can you make out any of the letters?
It's confusing.
Oh.
Like, I don't know. I think there's, like, an N or an H. I'm not sure. And it doesn't matter. It's okay. They're basically like, yeah, Geordi's gonna do it. So Picard then gets a call from Admiral Marcus Holt. So 9 days ago, the Hera, another ship, left DS3 on a routine courier mission. They were in contact for 5 of those days, and then the ship disappeared. They have some other ships retracing their course, but they haven't found anything. But they're going to keep searching for another 72. Just as another 72. I'm assuming hours.
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah. So Picard has to tell Geordi. So immediately I'm like, it's his parents. I'm like, oh no, I don't like this. So it's Geordi's mom, which I did fucking nail in a certain extent for my prediction. That it was related to his parents.
Yeah, because his mom is the captain of the ship that went missing.
Yeah. So, okay. It's actually very cool. I didn't know his mom was a captain. I knew that his parents had something related to, like, animal stuff, but the fact that she's a captain.
Yeah, it was exobiology.
Yeah, but I guess also, like, her becoming a captain on the ship was, like, only a few months ago, so, like, it's pretty new.
Yeah.
So Geordi is then, we cut to in his quarters, and he's watching an old transmission from his mom from a few weeks ago, and we learn Geordi has a sister named Ariana, which I don't know if we knew that, but I don't recall knowing that.
No, I don't think we did.
And so then Riker goes to see Geordi, and I just was like, oh, they never have scenes together. So I'm actually like, from the start, from like how the episode began up until this point, I was like, ooh, we're gonna have like some Geordi and Riker shit a little bit, but like not the way I was hoping.
Yeah, they have a couple scenes, but it's not like
it's not the vibe I wanted. Yeah. So Geordi, Riker's like, hey, and he's like, hey, and then Geordi just continues watching the transmission from his mom with Riker. I'm like, oh, okay. And Geordi's mom wants to set him up with the second best engineering officer on the fleet. That's on her ship. And yeah, kind of wild that like he just like Riker just watching with him, but I don't know. Apparently they were throwing Geordi's dad a surprise birthday party, which like cute, but I guess not so much anymore. But okay, so the transmission was from about 3 weeks ago, and Geordi hadn't gone back to her. So okay, probe is ready, and if Geordi is maybe like not up to it because he's got, you know, kind of big thing dealing with, yeah. Riker can kind of tap in, but Geordi's like, no, we already like. Let's do it. So I do like he's trying to be optimistic, and he's like, oh, his mom could have taken the crew on a vacation. Like, sure, Geordi. Okay.
I do feel
I'll take it.
Yeah. I do feel like people are a little quick to be like, okay, they're dead. Like I feel like it should have been at least like, I know they've been looking for a while, but I feel like, you know, maybe at least another week or so to have the funeral.
They've been looking for like 2 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that it's really like they're still searching. The fact that they're like planning funerals and just automatic like, yep, they're dead, even though the search is still going on, is kind of wild to me. Okay, so Geordi is tuning into the probe. He's like, oh, this place is a mess. It's like the halls of the Ramon, but like from the shot when he says it's a mess, like the it looks very clean. Just there's like one big piece of debris on the floor, but the rest of it looks spotless. A little bit farther down the hallway, it's like, okay, yeah, a little bit of a mess. But when Geordi's like, it's a mess, I'm like, girl, where?
Yeah. It's like when you go to like a friend's house and they're like sorry about the mess and it's fucking spotless.
Yeah. Like Geordi. Okay, Geordi finds a dead guy under debris, and this honestly gave such like video game vibes when he was like, "Hey, Data, like help me open the door," and like send me like the phaser thing. And so like Geordi just puts his hand out and he like unlocks the door to get into the other room.
Yeah, the beam like shoots from his palm.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. That was like very video game-esque, and I enjoyed that. So Geordi finds the rest of the crew. They're dead. So, bummer. Then a fire pops up, and Geordi gets burned for real. So they are able to like get him out of there, and they think maybe the sensor for like when he saw the fire, like the sort of interface kind of reacted for real. A little bit.
It's sort of like basically there was like a power surge and the wires burned his hands.
Yeah. So Geordi wants to go back to collect the Ramon's data, and Dr. C is like, sure, but just like keep interface low, and like that risk is acceptable. But they need like a couple hours to get into the auxiliary control room because the bridge is not accessible. So Geordi's got a little bit of time. So he calls his dad, and his sister is upset. Yeah, understandably. And there's going to be a service for the Hera that will be on Vulcan, because I guess majority of the crew were from Vulcan.
I'm so sorry. I must have like accidentally like zoned out when you were speaking earlier, because I thought this was the part we were talking about before. That's why I mentioned I thought it was like a little early that people were planning.
No,
funerals.
that was
No. They were mentioning it. Like it was as soon as it was like, oh, it's lost. They were like, yeah, they're gone. That's it.
Yeah. Also, like
what I was talking about earlier is when he was watching the transmission of his mom.
Yeah.
Now, like this is with his dad, and his dad's like, yeah, they're gonna do the service, but like we want to have our own little private service, like and you and your sister.
Yeah, and this is where Geordi says, "Don't you think it's a little soon?"
Yeah, even like I was
with.
like, this is very like they're missing and they're still being actively searched for. But the dad is like, yeah, the search is a formality at this point. Like, the search is still going and you're calling it already. That seems...
Yeah.
Like, this is your wife.
Like, I get the argument that the script is going for, because it's like, yeah, when when like ships go missing like this, in like these particular circumstances, they're looking back to like, you know, actual... the ship has gone missing in like naval warfare and whatnot, and how like it's fucking gone. But like, this is Star Trek, and they have found things that have been missing for more time than this, several times.
Seriously,
in this
yeah.
show.
I mean, like, how many times has the Enterprise fucking disappeared and whatever? This just feels like the amount of that they have like access to, and they just decide to like call it a day that quickly. Or not even them, because the Starfleet is looking still.
Yeah, and Geordi found out, like, yesterday. I think he's allowed to still have a little hope, you know?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It might even be the same day, but I think it has been.
Yeah, I think it is actually the same day. I think you're right. So, okay, now we cut to Data just sitting in his quarters staring at a blank screen. And I just was like, waiting for Riker to position the probe, I guess.
Yeah.
So then Geordi goes to see Data, and Data's like, yeah, I'm studying poetry. And Geordi's like, girl, where?
Yeah.
What do you... And then Data does this whole little thing about like, oh, poetry is like emptiness, a space, whatever. I'm not a poetry person, so I was like, Data, you're talking out of your ass to me right now.
Yeah, so Data basically goes like, you know, well, the emptiness is poetic in and of itself. And he mentions this specific, like, race of aliens that do poetry where they have, like, just moments of, like, emptiness and silence and stuff. And he says, like, some of them go on for, like, days or whatever. And then, yeah, he says, like, oh, this one that I'm reading, I guess, if that's the word.
Yeah,
has a pause of experiencing is a good word, yeah. This one has a pause of, like, 47 minutes. Like, oh, great.
Yeah. So yeah, Data's like, you don't want to talk about your mom? And Geordi's like, no, I don't want to talk about my mom, just like passing by, whatever. And so then Geordi's like, yeah, Data's like, you want to look at my poetry with me? And Geordi's like, yeah, I'll look at your poetry. And so Geordi just stands behind him and looks at a blank screen also for like a couple seconds. And then like Geordi immediately is like, Data, like my dad, you gave up very easily.
Yeah.
And I wasn't really passing by. So Geordi's like, am I crazy for thinking she could still be alive? And then Data's like, you're not crazy. But like historically things don't really look great.
Yeah.
Geordi is understandably bummed.
And he says you're not crazy, but your view of the situation is biased.
Yeah. Okay, so Geordi is now back in the probe. He is I wrote Geordi is probing
Oh man.
around. Okay. No, I got it. He's probing an area and sees his mom on the Ramon. And he's like, who, what, where, why, and when, and how, mother? And she's like, there's no time to explain. I'm like, I feel like this deserves a little bit of explanation. I feel like we can find the time for an explanation here, ma'am.
Yeah, just give me the Coles notes at least.
Yeah. But Geordi's mom, who I guess I will call, because we never learned her first name, so I'm just going to call her Captain LaForge. She was like, I want to go down to the surface. And Geordi tries to touch her, but then he goes into neural shock. So he's taken out. So Geordi thinks that like she must be some kind of transmission or something. And like the ship, the Hera, is on the surface of the planet. And Data's like, yeah, there's no like transmission detected, but like Geordi was vibing differently with the probe, so he might be experiencing things that they can't really track by sensor. So Picard says Hera was more than 300 light years away, so how could it be there? And then, which there's something they say later, which confuses me a little bit though too.
The blah 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 wormholes something. It truly does not matter.
Data's like, stuff on the surface. I feel like we'd be able to like sense this shit, whatever. Geordi wants to go down, but Dr. C's like, absolutely not. Your like body can't. You're like, you will fry. You cannot do this. But Picard, it says, is like agrees. He's like, it's not happening. So then he is sent to speak to Troy. And from the start, I was like, he's got to talk to Troy. Like, I love their dynamic. I'm like, yes, Troy, Geordi scene. I love when they hang out. It's very few and in between, but I enjoy them. This was not a scene for me for them.
Yeah, this was a legit therapy session.
Yeah, but like a little wonky. So Troy is like, tell me about your mom. And Geordi's like, well, I'm not telling you about my childhood. And Troy's like, cool, didn't ask about your childhood. I asked about your mom. And then he like lists all this stuff about her, and like Captain LaForge sounds cool as fuck.
Yeah, and I also have to praise them for actually saying something about like the woman herself, and not like, you know how people usually describe mothers as like all the things they did for other people.
Yeah, mothers are not human beings. They're just a mother, and that is their only. They like, as what we've said in previous episodes, you can only be one thing.
Yeah.
But here in this episode, you get to be more than one thing. So she's Geordi's mom and Captain LaForge. So the last time that he saw her was 7 months prior. Like there was a party for the Hera crew when she first took command, and Geordi's like, yeah, I've been like super busy, wasn't able to sort of make time to see her. And Troy's like, hey Geordi, so I think you feel guilty for not seeing her when he had the chance, and so now he doesn't want to consider her dead. And his need for the Hera the need for her to be alive has manifested itself as an image of her. But Geordi's like, hard disagree. And he thinks that she's like maybe trapped on the planet. And if he was like fantasizing about her, wouldn't she be safe? But Troy's like, no, because that would be the end of the fantasy. And then you would know it wasn't true, because that's like obviously not the situation. This is like a thing where his brain makes it plausible. This is like an explanation of what happened. So the more complicated and ending the story is the longer he can believe that his mother is still alive. But Geordi's like, actually, you believe whatever you want to believe, and I will believe whatever I want to believe. Okay, thanks, bye. Okay, so now Data, Geordi, Riker, and Picard have a meeting. Love a meeting. And Data has been exploring the possibility of using a tractor. Okay, there's a lot of shit with I wrote so much like
this is very
tech shit.
Heavy episode.
Honestly, and you know what? This part is actually not relevant to the story. So though I spent a lot of time writing it down, it's not relevant. They're trying to fuck around with like the ship or whatever, so they can access it better to like get the data that the crew had like put in there, whatever, like shuttlecraft shit, doesn't matter. But Geordi's like, oh, what about the Hera? His mom was like, oh, a few weeks ago, the new chief engineer was experimenting with the warp drive. And then there's like some tech shit on the Hera that maybe was like wonky, and the new engineer fucked up and fucked around and found out. So Data confirms there have been some like reports of warp bubbles and like other subspace shit. And Geordi's like the fuck around and find out could be subspace funnel. And Hera could have like accidentally created distortion that like emptied out at Meridian 7.
There's a theoretical possibility that like the ship like somehow warped to the planet accidentally.
Yeah, because then I think Geordi says that like the Hera passed by this area 10 days ago, and so when that information was revealed, I was like, oh, so then that makes this way more plausible that they were here than if something warp related and they would kind of like backtrack to somewhere where they already were. So that's not that fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is information I wish they maybe mentioned earlier, because that is, to me, kind of important. Like, I don't know, it's not necessarily important, but like kind of information that's good to know.
Yeah.
That they were like right where they are now. And so then I was also thinking like, oh, is this related to like some, like maybe whatever happened to the people in the Raman, like that's what whoever did that kind of like did something to the other ship or like to the Hera and whatever. So Geordi's like, oh yeah, they could be like out in subspace or whatever. And Picard's like, Data, is this possible? And Data's like, yeah, no, it's totally possible, but it's also nearly impossible.
Yeah, it's like it's
cool,
possible but not very probable.
Yeah, so Geordi is understandably pissed. And Picard's like, I know this is like a huge bummer, but I can't risk your life based on this like loosey-goosey hypothesis. So we're not, going along with this.
Yeah.
And Riker goes to see Geordi in engineering in a scene that I don't... I was hopeful. I did not... The acting is really good, but like... Anyways, okay. So Riker goes to see Geordi and he's like, listen, we're going to be in the tractor beam for like an hour, whatever. I don't know. It fucking doesn't matter. They're setting shit up for the, whatever they're going to do with the Raman. But also he like knows that he may have seemed kind of harsh about the situation, but like he just doesn't want like one of his best officers putting himself in necessarily danger. And then Geordi says, well, I guess I feel like I should be the one to decide whether it's unnecessary or not, which is like, yeah, that is fair.
Yeah.
And so then
but
we
also,
learn...
like, sometimes, like, he's going through an emotional time right now, so it's reasonable that, like,
you have people looking out for you, which is great, but also at the same time, it's like, I do think you should be allowed to make your own decisions with your bodily autonomy.
To be fair, they're in a military organization, and his boss said, no, this is not what we're going to let you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So then Riker tells us, I don't know if we knew this, I have no recollection of this, but Riker's mother died when he was a baby. This was straight out news to me.
Yeah, this is the only time that he's talked about it.
So then he's like, oh yeah, Kyle used to tell Riker's story. They never say Kyle though, he just says his dad, which I guess is pretty normal. You don't call it, well, I call my mother by her first name, but that's a long story. I've been doing this since I was a kid. And it's like, okay, you remember like when you're a kid and you go into like change rooms or whatever at like a
Yeah.
clothing store and you stick your head out because you want your mom to see and you say mom and like 30 middle-aged women turn and look at you.
Yeah.
So I started calling my mom by her first name, like a nickname of her first name, or the short, yeah, because otherwise like a bunch of middle-aged women would be like, yes, let's see what you're wearing.
Yeah, there's this like a gaming YouTuber who he actually calls his mom by his first name, and he calls his grandma mom, because when he was a kid he always heard his mom call his grandmother mom, and he heard people call his mom by her first name, so he just assumed that's what you call those people.
That was honestly something similar with my grandmother. There's a specific term that was used for her, but it sounded very similar to her first name, and I just assumed it was like a hyphenated name because a lot of my other friends didn't use this term for their grandparents. So I just assumed
That was her name?
that this was her name.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I was like 9 or 10 or something, and then I realized, oh, that's a title. That is not her first name.
Yeah.
But it was kind of an alarmingly long amount of time, even though like my like other sort of cousins had their grandmother with the same title name. I just kind of thought that, again, the title name was similar to like their like the title name and like their grandmother and my grandmother have kind of like not cutesy names, but like it all sounded that I was like, oh yeah, like logistically, sure, it would make sense they have the same first name.
Yeah.
I was like, that's not that crazy.
Yeah.
But no, I just was stupid. So, yeah. I just wanted to clear up with the parent name. I know people think that's like a smart ass kid thing to do. It was
Yeah.
purely related to the fact of I like shopping. Listen, I don't want to hear any comments, listeners. Women be shopping. I be shopping. I love shopping. I love spending money. Anyways, so yeah, it's purely because you can't say mom without a bunch of other women turning around.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason, and it just stuck over the years. So I still call my mother by her first name just because that's what it's just what I'm used to now.
It's just more practical.
Yeah, I call my dad, but like my mom by her name. Okay, so anyways, yeah, so Kyle like would tell Riker these stories, and Riker then like when he was old enough and went to school would like tell these stories to his friends, but he started to like low-key believe she was alive and just was like gone away, and that she was going to come back. And like his dad heard about this, and like, oh no, sorry, his teacher. It kind of looked like I wrote feather, and from the sort of way that I'm at, I was supposed to be teacher, but anyways, so his like teacher heard about this, and like her and Kyle had to talk to Riker and be like,
Yeah.
my guy, she's dead, like dead.
Yeah,
Sorry, my
he
guy.
accepts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was important for him to accept this fact, and that just because like he wanted it, so it wasn't like it wasn't gonna happen. So in his mind, that was the day his mom actually died, but in my notes I wrote that was the day the music died. So yeah, so that's like a
I
bummer.
really liked the scene. I thought it was like
Here's the
they
thing.
did good.
Like I like Riker being vulnerable and giving this information, and I like it's a little bit of bonding with Geordi. But like Geordi's response to this though, I was like I understood. He's like, my guy, your experience is not universal.
Yeah, Geordi's definitely correct.
Yeah, he's
in that like this isn't,
he's like,
you know, it's not exactly a parallel situation.
yeah, he was like, you knew for sure your mom was dead, and
Yeah.
like if there was like a body or wreckage in his situation, then he could accept it, but like she's just like gone, like disappeared. There's no closure to that.
Yeah, you don't.
So it's not about
You don't actually. know
so
what
it's not like, oh,
happened.
he's in denial or anything. It's just we don't have, there's no there's no concrete yes or no right now. So
The
that's-
problem-
like it's like Riker is, I think I understand what he's trying to do, but he's kind of missing Geordi's point of the problem. is that it's not
Yeah.
like he's in denial. It's that he just doesn't have anything to, like, other than she just has disappeared. They don't have anything to confirm either way. So it's not like, oh, like if they had something, then he could, like, you know, make peace with it, but he doesn't. And that's the problem. So, like, I get what Riker was going for, but it's not the, like, story that, like, it's not the vibe.
Yeah. And I feel like they could have gotten through to Geordi more if they'd leaned harder into the actual tech of the interface, being like, listen, like, this interface, like, it's designed to make things feel really real, and it is, like, it's messing with your brain a lot, and you were, like, you know, interacting with it, like, pretty hard, so, you know, there is a possibility that this is just manifesting from, like, your own thoughts and the things going on with you right now.
Yeah, that's actually a really
know?
good point. That, like, they don't really bring that up. And that's actually, that's a really, really good point. That would have made so much more sense.
Yeah, and I feel like Geordi would be a little bit more receptive to that. I still feel like because like there's a story that the episode wants to tell, right? So I still think, like, you know, you could get away with Geordi, like, being like, I know that, but still it's so real, and if there's a chance, you know, blah blah blah. But
yeah,
I feel like the appeals that the crew gave to him was not
also, like Geordi says, like, if as long as there's a chance she might be alive, then, like, he's not going to quit searching. And I feel like most people would feel the exact same way. So why Geordi is being treated like he's fucking out of his mind is like, it's truly wild to me.
Such brand new information too.
Yeah, like, literally, like, at this point I think it's been one day since he's been told that the ship disappeared, and
They're
like,
they're not even clear about it, honestly. But
like, it's truly wild. Yeah, that the thought that, like, one day after, like, that he should just immediately give up and be like, nope, that's it. When, like, why would he give up this early?
Yeah,
Like, that's truly wild to me that he got so much shit over, like, wanting to, like, know for sure.
Dude, there are people whose, like, family members have been missing for years and they don't give up, you know? Like, and you know, there's something to say that, like, you know, at a certain point you do have to move on, but, like, I think maybe give him more than, like, a day or two.
Yeah, seriously.
To be like, and listen, if I was Riker, right, if I was, like, Geordi's superior, I would be like, listen, I know that you are the best person for the job right now and stuff, but and the thing is like, he didn't see his mom after he confirmed the crew was dead. So after that mission, Riker should have been like, okay, we know what's going on with the crew now. You no longer have to do this. We have time, you know? Because before it was an issue of time. So, okay, Geordi, even though you really shouldn't be doing this mission right now, given the circumstance, we're on a time crunch because we don't know what's going on with the crew, and this is a rescue situation. Once they confirmed the crew was dead, they have all the time in the world to do this mission.
Yeah.
To, like, get the data and stuff. It doesn't have to be Geordi anymore. So, like, Riker, who seems to be the one that's in charge of the mission, should have insisted, listen, you are going on bereavement right now to deal with whatever, and, you know, I will do the mission, and we'll recalibrate and all that stuff. So, I think that's what should have happened.
Yeah,
so
agreed.
The problem that this whole episode has in terms of Geordi's issue is that, like, the other characters aren't really taking his issue seriously, and that's because of specifically how his problem is written. And that's the problem is written as the stages of grief on TV. And this is the denial stage, and so everybody has to respond to it like it's the denial stage. And it's unfortunately a really typical and unoriginal approach. And that's
it was
too
poorly
bad
done.
because there are parts of this episode that I think are quite strong, and then there's parts of it that are absolutely not, and that makes it really frustrating. And that's probably one of the reasons that, Maggie, you and I skipped the episode so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing is like, I don't understand why her disappearance had to be so mysterious. Because, like, okay, if there had been, like, a debris field or, like, you know, something to suggest that maybe, like, you know, that there was still, there's still a chance that they're out there, but that there is some evidence that something bad happened, then I think it would be more reasonable for the crew to be like, listen, Geordi,
Yeah.
the odds are super not good.
Oh, 100%.
And they could have made up some whatever technobabble shit to
But instead,
have
they
him
give us
have some plausible
nothing.
reason for her to be there.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
okay, I almost said I'm done, almost done the recap. I'm not, but okay. So Data,
Sorry.
no worries. Just there's so much to talk about with this. Okay, so Data walks in then on Geordi getting ready to do the interface alone, and Data's like, yeah, I knew you well enough that you were going to try something like this, and but also like I can't sit back and watch you endanger your well-being, so I wrote, so help him, Data, and monitor the interface. And Geordi just like needs to know for sure, because otherwise, and I totally get this, like if he doesn't know, have some kind of idea or closure, he needs to follow up on this, because otherwise it's going to bother him for the rest of his life, just like wondering if he left her to die. Like, I totally get it. I've told the story of me unsure if I left the fan on in my apartment when I went to London, England, and had my super go and check it for me. I understand. Yeah, totally comparable, same thing. No, of course not. But then, so Data's like, yeah, I could send you to your room, but instead I'll help. So, yay, thanks, Data. So Geordi then is like, okay, we could probably get in trouble, but Data's like, listen, YOLO at this point. So, okay, back on the Ramon, immediately, like, Captain LaForge is there, and she's like, oh, hey, Geordi, I'm not really here. I'm on my ship on the surface. We were pulled into a warp funnel, and we found a way to send a subspace signal, and that cut through the atmosphere interference.
Yeah.
And Data's like,
Have we mentioned that she's been acting really sketchy the whole time?
we haven't, but up until this point,
Yeah.
she was kind of being like a little odd, but honestly, nothing that kind of was like, at the back of my mind, I was like, this feels off, but nothing like red flaggy quite yet until now.
Yeah.
Until now.
actually, so I already knew what the spoiler was, so I was actively looking for things that were weird about it. And the first time that she and Geordi meet up, he's like, "Mom, is that you?" And she's like, "Yes, it's Mom." And just the way that she says that
Yeah.
is so inhuman, and like, yeah, I'm just repeating what you're saying, and like
Yeah,
the tells are all there.
Yeah, I didn't remember the spoiler, but to be fair, my subconscious maybe remembered in some way, but I didn't consciously remember the spoiler, and like I picked up on the same thing you did.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it just
That it was like, oh, the way she was
awkward.
talking is, quite awkward, and it definitely seems like she's just like parroting back what he's
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah, I think I give a lot of credit to the actress. I did not look up her name, but I think she did a really good job of making it like seem like someone who was like trying to almost like not make it natural, but they were like not. They were trying their best to make it seem normal, but they don't know what the normal is.
Yeah.
And I think like the actress did a really
Yeah,
good
I
job
agree.
of it.
Yeah, I agree.
So, okay,
This is actually the second time that she's played a starship captain.
Oh,
Yeah, she was.
Yeah, I recognize the actress, but I couldn't put my finger
She's
on it.
in fuck, what is it called? She's in the Voyage Home. She's piloting one of the ships that gets what do you call it? That gets downed by the whale probe at the beginning of the movie.
Oh, yeah.
okay, where was I? So yeah, Data's like, oh yeah, I'm seeing some like unusual subspace energy in Geordi's vicinities, like similar to like what the probe center recorded, like the first time he experienced his mom. So Geordi's like, hey, I'm gonna take the Ramon down into like their lower orbit to initiate an inverse warp cascade. It doesn't matter. And he's like, I was totally right. This fucking happened, whatever. And then I was like, oh, so like her ship then should end up where it started. So back like 300 light years he's trying to send that or whatever. So Data's like, Geordi, that atmosphere becomes increasingly, is telling Geordi that the atmosphere is increasingly turbulent, that farther down he goes, he may not be able to bring the Ron close enough to the Hera before it's destroyed. Whatever. Geordi's like, let's fucking go. And yeah, so Geordi's like having a hard time, this interface, and struggling, and Captain LaForge is like a little too chill for what's is going on.
Yeah. And she, at one point, she was standing with like one hand behind her back, and I thought she was gonna like pull out a knife or something.
Seriously. And
but no, she was just standing.
And then she got slight. So Geordi then is like, "Oh, thank God that you're alive," and she gets sort of like, "Huh, thank God." Like, she turns kind of, we'll call it robot on him, and I was like, "Oh God, is she gonna kill him?" That's when I was like, because I was suspicious, but not like super suspicious. Yeah. But then when his reaction to him being like, "Oh my God, I was right, I can't believe it," and she was like, no reaction to the fact that she could possibly be about to be rescued, was fucking crazy.
And she was kind of like baffled by the phrase, thank God.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and then she repeated it at one point and just sounded very strange repeating it.
Yeah. And so then I put in my notes, there are still 9 minutes left of this episode. So thsomething else is up here. So interface is like fading in and out. Geordi tells, they're fucking around. It's gonna like fry his nervous system. And he's like, Data, keep fucking going. And Geordi tells Captain LaForge that he's sorry he didn't speak with her, and that she's like, it's fine, you had to work. And I was like, okay, no mother in the history of the world has ever just been like, it's cool. So
you were busy.
No, like, that is impossible. And I was like, oh, this be an alien or something, because no human mother in the history of the entire universe, when someone was like, oh, when their child was like, oh, sorry, I couldn't like talk to you, and they're like, no, it's cool, that's illegal, impossible.
Yeah,
that is. And
if they were saying that, it would be in a like it's fine, I know you were too busy.
No,
like sort of a
that's
like a guilt trippy way.
That is, this was weird. Oh, this was very strange.
I know you're too busy for your poor old mother.
Yeah, this was just like, nah, it's cool. Like, nope. That was very weird. Mm-hmm. So Geordi and Data go back and forth about like the interface and that like the tolerance level and whatever, but Geordi's like in it to win it, so he's like, fucking keep raising that interface tolerance levels. We're doing it. We're getting to the end of this. So Geordi is also scanning from the Ramon. He's like, I don't really see your ship. But Captain LaForge is like, oh no, it's probably just like too far away. And Geordi's like, not really. We should have been seeing something by now. And then Captain LaForge goes like right behind him. And I thought either she was going to like zap him or like strangle him or like garrote him or some shit. I don't know. It was so weird.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
But then she like starts to do this weird like zap thing to his head. Her hands go but like on either side of his head from behind him. And Dr. C has shown up at one point, and she's like, oh, his neural synapses are like overloading. He can't survive. And
oh yeah, because on the bridge.
Yeah, they realize what's going on.
They see that the ship's like descending, and then they realize what's happening, and they go to where Geordi is. And stuff.
So Geordi's able to like kind of get reverse tractor beam out, and this allows fake Captain LaForge to like let go of Geordi, and and turn into fire. And so they're able to they can't disconnect him fully yet, but because he'll go into neural shock, but they're like gonna gradually do it in the meantime. So Geordi basically, we're subject to Geordi just saying random phrases with no response for a good few minutes of like, so you killed the crew, and just like,
it's like when when you're listening to someone talk on the phone
but you hear one side of the conversation. So basically, though, Geordi then explains when the Ramon got too close to this planet. Oh, this is him explaining to our crew.
Yeah.
That when the Ramon got close to the planet, it accidentally picked up some life forms that live in the lower atmosphere, subspace, beings of some kind, and they're intelligent. And when the ship went back into a higher orbit, the beings were trapped, and one of them must have read his thoughts through the probe interface and took the form of his mother to try to talk him into taking the ship closer to the surface so they could the being could like get back to its home. So the beings are responsible for the deaths of the Ramon crew, but Geordi's like, I don't think it was on purpose. They probably tried communicating with them the same way, but their communication was like not it, because it was probably direct, but Geordi has the probe, so that was kind of a safe buffer, I guess. So Geordi's like, we should still bring the Ramon down, and fake Captain LaForge is like, Geordi, we're safe. Like, nothing happens, and then she's like, we're safe now. Bye. Yeah. And then like bursts into fire and just like fires away, just like kind of drifts away, fades away into nothing. And so then the Ramon is like failing. Everything's going to shit. But they're able to get Geordi out right on time. So then en route to Starbase 495, Picard is having a conversation with Jordan. He's like, listen, I'm not happy about what you did. I'm sorry you didn't find your mom. And Geordi's like, yeah, well, it felt so real and felt like he had a chance to say goodbye. And that was the end of the episode. And I hard disagree.
Yeah.
I don't think this would have, satisfied Geordi's. I don't think this would have brought him closure. This is just him watching like another thing of like someone using his mom's disappearance for nothing. And we don't know what the fuck happened to the ship. And I'm going to assume, based on TNG's previous everything, that we're never going to find out what happened to Geordi's mom.
That is accurate.
Yeah.
Yep.
And which really fucking sucks, because like I was really hoping they would turn out at least some kind of conclusion one way or another, and instead we got my worst nightmare, which is just like the uncertainty. You just don't know what the fuck has happened.
Because I think even if they wanted to end on uncertainty, like if they wanted to go the route of like, this is like, in life sometimes you don't always get to find out, and we're gonna try to do that this episode. They did not do a good job.
No, definitely not.
Of doing that, because the episode just ends really abruptly, and like, and Geordi's like, oh yeah, I guess this brought me closure somehow, I guess, and that's it.
Yeah, I did not like that. I don't believe in it. Now this is going to be something I think about. This is now going to haunt me.
Good.
Of what happened to Geordi's mom. This is going to be I'm going to be thinking about this for a while. I wonder if online there's like other theories. I'm sure there must be.
There's
people have like some ideas or whatever, but
there's apocrypha about what do you call it? Expanded universe stuff that actually goes into her, and she like comes back and all this stuff, and
Yeah, I was gonna say there's probably something in a novel or something.
Yeah, because I was curious, and so they they make her alive again, I believe.
Okay, listen, I'll take it. That makes me feel a bit better.
And like the novels and graphic novels and stuff like that. Whether that stuff is canon is always kind of foggy. So.
Oh, not with Star Trek. With Star Trek, it's flat out not canon.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Does that mean the DS9 novels are not
That's
canon?
Right.
Oh.
I know some of them are quite good.
I've heard good things about them.
But it's with Star Wars that it's foggy.
Oh, yeah.
Because Star Wars, like, they go in and out of, oh, well, does this count? Yes. Also, it doesn't. Because Star Wars has, like, multiple TV shows and movies running at the same time, and they'll say, like, oh, yeah, these TV shows are canon, and then these ones are not. And it's like, oh, guys, like...
And also a fuck ton of novels.
Yes. Yeah, it's very confusing. That said, though, Dory, this episode actually started off with a very similar premise, except it was all about Riker instead.
Interesting.
Was it his mom who was just
No,
who was
it was
missing? It was
Kyle.
Kyle. Oh, that would have been great.
They
I'm
were
okay
gonna
with
kill off Kyle.
I was
and-
okay with
and,
that.
And they were going to have Riker go through the stages of grief about it. And the entire reason that they didn't is because they did that mental asylum episode with him at the end of last season. And they're like, we've had a bit too much Riker recently. Let's do a Geordi episode because we haven't done one of those in a while. And it turned out that this was actually the last main character who hadn't had a family episode yet.
I do wish they had a better thing for this. Would have been a much
I
more
agree.
effective episode
agree.
if they did have it with Kyle and Riker, because we've met Kyle and I have such strong feelings about Kyle. But the fact that we didn't know Geordi's parents until now, and we
right.
don't really get to even know
Yep, I know.
them, and I just feel so bad for Geordi. I want stuff for Geordi, but not this. I want better for Geordi.
I am glad that they gave Geordi like some family stuff at least, though. That they gave like more.
I would love to meet his
sorry,
sister.
Fucking.
What it comes down
Yeah.
to with Star Trek is that the original series was like a plot first with like, you know, silly hijinks with the main cast show beforehand, and episodes like this, regardless of whether you like them or not, are something that set TNG apart from the original series, because TNG would go into like family drama and like hard moments for characters like this, and in the original series that never happened. Family is never addressed, essentially. Oh, except for Spock, because Spock's family is all drama. But yeah, no one else essentially has any family that's worth talking about. I think there's like a Kirk brother episode once, but that's like very much forgotten because it's dumb. But yeah, like it's one of those things where like TV going into characters like backstories like this, it really wasn't as common in the 1990s. Like we forget just how much television has changed in just the last 30 years, and it's like. I don't like this episode. I think there are parts of this episode that I really enjoy, because those scenes themselves I think are good, but they're in the wrong fucking episode, and that's quite frustrating.
Definitely. I'm glad they gave Geordi some stuff, but they didn't do a good job with it.
And Dory, we did mention this season is full of like weird stuff that doesn't necessarily land very well for chunks of it.
Yeah.
And this is one example of that.
Yeah, here's one of the things that really frustrated me with this episode is like I adore Geordi and I'm happy they gave him an episode, but they gave him an episode where the whole episode everyone is telling him he's wrong and that he's crazy and that like basically everyone is taking his agency from him every 5 seconds, and every decision he makes, like people are telling him you made the wrong decision, you're making the wrong move. And in the end, we don't get any kind of validation for Geordi. We just get meh. And so I'm like, this is terrible. This is not a good episode for him. Geordi deserves fucking better.
Yeah. Cause he was right in a way. Like it wasn't his mom and stuff, but it was something real.
Yeah, there was still a problem.
There was something down there, and there were beings that needed to be helped. You know, it just wasn't who we thought it was.
Yeah, this wasn't an episode. There's so many episodes where they lift up and make like a good character study of the person. It feels like in this they just like, because now that I know it was originally going to be with Riker, it feels like Geordi was just like basically a sad substitute. And that really bums me out, honestly, because I truly think Geordi is such an interesting character, and so far he's really done most interesting things when he's not in his episodes, weirdly enough. And I think he's like super overdue for like a good episode where he's the star of the show. And it really
it's
sucks.
Very unfortunate because it's very unfortunate because there's a lot to work with Geordi, you know, and like one of the one of the aspects that they sort of abandoned, like, really early on was his, like, chronic pain.
Yeah.
Which I thought would have been interesting.
Yep.
And, like, yeah, it's unfortunate that they very much underutilized Geordi.
Like, and he's such an interesting character. Like, he's so smart, but he's also fun. And we don't have, like, a lot of the moments that, like, I like with him are him, like, having fun with another crew member. Like, I love him and Troy, like, when they were, like gossiping or whatever. Him and Data are so fun. I love their friendship. I feel like Geordi is truly, might be, in my opinion, the most underrated of the cast. Because they don't, I think LeVar Burton is so talented and he's great and I enjoy him so much. And I feel like they have not, we're 7 seasons in, have not utilized him and his strengths the way that they should have. And we're at the
you're
end,
gonna
so
hate Voyager.
Yeah, I would agree with you there.
Like,
he's not in Voyager.
No, because Voyager is full of underutilized characters.
Oh, yeah.
That said, though, he is actually in Voyager briefly. He's in a single episode.
Oh, yeah.
It's the time travel with Harry Kim one where it like goes into the future of him after Voyager has like crashed and he blames himself.
Right.
And yeah, there's a Captain
Yeah,
LaForge in it, and it's him. And so they deal with him a little bit. He gets a couple of scenes. I think he directed the episode, which is one of the reasons that they went with that.
Yeah.
well, I'm justice for Geordi. Justice for Geordi. That's my...
So I haven't seen any of like I haven't really watched the Picard series, but I think LaForge is in that.
Oh yeah, he is.
So
he is.
Might,
He's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, so they might have given him more to do.
They did. They did.
One thing that's cool is I always forget, like, because when he's in like when he's like in probe mode or whatever, he doesn't have his visor, and he also doesn't have like the contacts, so you like see like LeVar Burton's eyes, and I always forget how cute he is.
He has such like an intense
so adorable
stare is the thing.
And
it's
not that he's not cute with the visor. It's just like it makes a difference being able to see someone's eyes.
yes.
Eyes are the window to the soul.
Get out.
Yeah. Oh, Geordi, I just want better for him. That's the thing that fucking kills me with this show, is that they've got so many good characters. They've got these great talented actors, and listen, full offense to the writers. What the fuck, you guys? You're given basically...
Man, it's hard to pump out 25 good stories a year.
It's not even that. Like, what I'd give for 5 good stories a year. But like, at least like it's just, there's so much potential there, and yet it's constantly squandered, and just, it kills me. Because especially now we're so close to the end, and there's so much that could have been done. And obviously I don't know what's for the rest of the season, but based on what I've already, an educated guess based on what I've already seen, I'm not optimistic.
The season starts off weak, and then it gets better.
Okay.
Then there's a couple of bad ones in a row.
Great.
And then it stays pretty decent for the rest of the series.
Okay.
Or the rest of the season.
Yeah.
I just want
the general consensus on the series finale is very positive.
Yes.
That I've heard. So
Yeah.
I'm optimistic for that. But I just what I really, really want is I want something good with Geordi. I want everyone to have one last really good moment. Like every single one of our main like bridge crew main cast.
I don't remember every episode coming up, but I don't think there's a good Geordi one that we're missing. But feel free to call me wrong.
Okay.
We'll see.
Here's the thing. Then you know what? One day, at some point, by the time we finish this series and I have to write my fan fiction to present on this, Geordi is going to have a great moment.
Great.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
I'm writing it down to remind
Captain
myself.
LaForge.
He's gonna have
Yeah,
a great
I think-
moment.
I
Because
think
if I
this
have to
is,
do
like-
it, I'll do it myself, just as for Geordi.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think this is the last like Geordi focused episode.
Yeah.
That's
think you're
okay. But
Which is
I just would
annoying.
like him to have some kind of other moment, though. It doesn't have to be in a main focus, but I just
Yeah.
want something that I can be like, yes, fuck yeah, Geordi.
But it's really annoying because there are several Data episodes coming up that I can remember, and several Worf episodes coming up that I can remember, and I'm
Ooh.
just like, guys, you've got some people that you're late. There's actually a good Troy one coming up later on too. I
love
don't
it.
remember how far it is into the season, but it's there.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll take
there's
a Troy
still-
episode.
There's still a Riker one that's that we haven't gotten to that I know of. There's at least one Picard one, and
Well, I'm glad to hear
Yeah.
there's a few more Worf episodes coming up.
There's a Dr. C episode
Yes!
that's coming up in the middle of the season.
Good.
there's a
looking
couple
forward
of,
to whatever unhinged episode that's probably going to be, because I have learned from Dr. C episodes, they truly go like the furthest in one direction one can go. Like she stands in the middle, spins around, and that's the direction they go into for the whole episode, and just keep fucking going, and I'll take it.
Yeah.
Especially to make up for the last episode that was kind of centered on her, the one where she basically desecrates a body.
don't worry, she's not
So-
done desecrating bodies.
God,
Yeah.
Dr. C, why do you make it hard to love you? No, I love her regardless. I've grown attached to everyone, and I just want something good to happen to everyone before we, close the door on this show, which I know will be a
Yeah.
while, but
Yeah.
still,
There-
I want some kind, I don't know.
Yeah, there are definitely some interesting episodes coming up, but you can definitely tell in this season that they're running out of ideas.
Yep, for sure.
Especially since, like, because I was just kind of looking at the list of episodes, and, like, you can tell the writers are leaning very heavily on, like, their crutches of, like, Data and Worf stuff.
Yep.
Well,
Although there are some episodes in this season that I like forgot were in this season, and I'm like, oh, okay, this season isn't all garbage.
No, this season isn't garbage. It's just it has the most amount of uneven writing episodes. Not flat out bad
Yeah.
episodes, just episodes that are like, eh.
Yeah, the episodes where, at least me personally, I'm like, oh, you really didn't know what to do, did you?
But yeah, they were reaching pretty hard into characters like backstory for a bunch of these, and in some cases it was like, okay, that's fine, but why didn't you deal with this character? I mean, I know
Yeah.
there's one coming up with Worf that is essentially like inconsequential to his entire fucking character, and it's real irritating. But
Yeah.
like, what do you call it? Then we have what do you call it? Then we have like Lower Decks, and we have like a bunch of other random things coming. There's a Loxana episode coming up, and like
ooh.
there's stuff that's here that's pretty heavy, and
Yeah.
they do
And
they sometimes do a very good job of it.
and I don't remember like how good the episode actually is, but the penultimate episode,
Oh, that one
I
that one
looked
is
at
good.
what it was.
Yeah, I know the
I
one you
looked
mean.
at what it was. Yeah. And I know the store, like, the concept is very
Yes,
good.
no, that one plays out great,
Yeah.
and it actually leans into DS9 really well. But we'll get into that,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
in a year when we watch it.
Yeah, it definitely lays some groundwork for DS9.
So anyway, Dory, we get it. You didn't like that episode. I have it noted on my watch list, I believe, as just strange Geordi story.
Yeah.
Kind of like the previous one was strange Picard story. And like there isn't a ton to say about either of them.
Yeah. And I have to say that, like, because I, like, for reasons, I posted it on social media for, like, my social media friends, and I think I didn't explain enough that the the category of must watch is not necessarily an indication of the quality of the episode.
I noted that in the like that's written in the directions.
Yeah, because like some episodes are must watch because they're great, and some episodes are must watch being like, listen, this is important to the overall universe of the show and or this character or whatever.
So
they're important, they're not necessarily good.
I do have a legend at the top of it. Like at the top of
Yeah.
every page, and it flat out says under must watch, this episode is of high quality or considered integral to understanding Star Trek TNG.
Yeah, but definitely I got some, like, a couple comments on there that, like, obviously missed that.
I see, fair enough.
And they're like, oh, I don't know why they rated this episode so highly, and I had to be like, it's not, like, they're not saying it's good, they're just saying, like, you, like, this episode is important.
Yeah, there's actually one or two episodes in the series that I noted, like I note in the description what the episode does, simply because the episode is not good enough to watch, and like there's only one important thing of it, and I'm just like, here you go, here's the spoiler, that's what's important, I just saved you 45 minutes, don't waste your time.
Yeah. I have a friend who was like rewatching the series, and I told them that, like, listen, you can skip Shades of Grey like 100%. Like you literally miss nothing.
Yep.
It is a clip show, and the framework around the clips doesn't fucking matter at all. And they were watching it with their partner, and like and they mentioned that I'd said this, and they're like, "Oh, well, it's a season finale. Like we should, it's probably important. Like we should watch it." And they watched it, and they were like, "Yeah, no, this episode was useless."
Yep, very, very pointless.
So if that is anything I can drill into people, is you do not have to watch Shades of Grey. Like, it's the only episode of the entire series that, like, is nothing.
Yeah.
The episode is nothing. We didn't even make a full episode on it. Like, I think we bundled it into, like, the season retrospective.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I don't know how I got on that so much, but...
Magic.
Okay, so I think it's fair now to move on to favorite moments and lines.
I like the Data and Geordi conversation. I liked that we got a Troy and Geordi scene, even though, like, it was, like, alright-ish. There was a line then when Geordi went to... I'm glad we also got to, like, see more of Geordi's family for the limited amount of time that we did.
Yeah.
There's a line when Geordi's kind of going rogue to go on to the send the probe onto the Ramon to, like, lower it, and Data comes in and he's like, I knew you would do this, and he's like, I'll send you to your room, but I'll actually help. And
The
Data,
exact quote is, I cannot confine you to quarters for something you have not yet done.
yeah, I was just gonna say
Yeah.
that. Yeah. So that was, I liked that line, and honestly, I think that's it. There wasn't like a lot. I was disappointed.
Yeah. I, like,
So it was a bummer.
Yeah. My favorite stuff was, like, the interactions between Geordi and Data as well. Because I just think their friendship is very well done on the show in general, and this is, just continues that. I do like the acting in the scene where Riker is, like, opening up to Geordi. I really like that, and I appreciate, men being vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was,
So yeah,
I thought that was a good
I
scene.
would agree with that. I did like Riker.
Yeah,
giving us-
I also really like that particular scene.
Yeah, and I also thought that the therapy session with Troy and Geordi was pretty realistic. I feel like Deanna could have done a better job, sort of, like, in recognizing that, like, maybe Geordi wasn't ready to, like, fully confront this and, like, maybe take a different approach, but I don't think that it was I don't think it was, like, necessarily wrong per se. I don't think it was the right approach for Geordi, but it wasn't like she did anything bad, I don't think. And I think it played out in a realistic way of, like, Geordi's resistance and how she managed to, like, get him to open up even, like, just a little bit and stuff like that.
Hands down, the best line in the whole episode is, "You may experience the emptiness with me if you wish."
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I do like. Sorry, I just remembered a thing about that scene. I do kind of like what they're saying with that scene, because Geordi is obviously, like, uncomfortable with the silence. That's why he goes to Data in the first place. That's why he goes down to do the mission, because he wants to get his mind off things. He does not want to sit with this. He wants to distract himself. So the fact that the person he goes to try to distract himself with is embracing silence and emptiness is, I think, like, a really interesting thing that they did.
Yeah, definitely.
There is one other thing that I do want to say. So, okay, this is, so I started using different headphones, and I was using my headphones when I was watching this episode. And for the first friggin' time ever, I heard, because I usually don't listen to the episode with headphones on, but I did for home reasons. And I could hear the ship. I never noticed that there's like a ship, like a kind of a...
it has a little rumble.
Yeah. I never noticed that.
There is a 24-hour ship recording up on YouTube that's just the ambience of the Enterprise D.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was...
Yeah, for people to put on for, like, to sleep or whatever.
Yeah.
They just have, like, the ship noise.
Yeah, so that was just kind of an interesting development for me, is that after all this time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so cool that you discovered that, because that is... I wouldn't even think to point that out, because that is just kind of like... It's kind of like a quintessential, like, aspect of the show, is, like, the room tone of the ship. All right, so let's move on to predictions for the next episode. All right, the next episode is called Gambit, Part 1. So this is going to be a two-parter.
Like 3 episodes after a two-parter.
Yeah. All right, so your little tidbit is that while Riker is investigating a high-profile death, he's abducted by a group of intergalactic archaeology thieves.
What? I can't tell if I love it or hate it. Okay. Oh my god. Why are they always... Why is the Enterprise always investigating deaths? Like, I feel like it's none of their business at this point. Like there's people who should be doing this. It shouldn't be Riker. Like, Riker is not... God. Okay. Archaeology thieves. So, like, grave robbers?
I guess, yeah. Technically, yeah.
Picard's gonna get all revved up for that. He's gonna get pissed. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna assume. Okay. I got an idea. Okay.
All right.
So I think that they probably have gone to an archaeological site, and maybe someone who was supposed to be, like, watching the site, like security or something, they get murdered. And the people, though, that, like, they think it is because Riker is, investigating. He shouldn't, but anyways, that's beside the point. Yeah. And so the archaeology thieves seem to be like the most logical suspect, because maybe they're caught, like, robbing the site or whatever, and so but they're innocent, and so that's what it's that thing of, like, they do all the time in movies and TV shows where they're like, I'm going to, like, low-key kidnap you to prove my innocence, which, like, never ever makes sense, but, like, that's what I'm assuming they're going for here. And they want to convince him that, like, yeah, we, like, steal, but we don't murder.
They're like, if we don't like kidnap you, like, we're never going to be found innocent or whatever.
Yeah, we need to, like, get you to a space so we can explain our side, because otherwise you're just gonna, like, immediately go back to Starfleet and be like, these guys did it, and that's it. And because they're, like, thieves, and Picard is probably gonna be extra biased against them because he loves archaeology, and he loves archaeology like he likes a deep V shirt.
Yeah.
So yeah, they don't think they're going to get a fair trial or whatever. So yeah, they want to convince Riker they're innocent.
So who do you think is the murderer? Who do you think did the crimes?
Burke Ramsey. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Allegedly. Oh God, I don't. Maybe. Okay. Say that there's 2 security guards, and one, when they're found, one is dead and the other one is like knocked out. The other security guard did it.
Okay.
And the like being knocked out was a
ploy.
Was a red hair
Or misdirect.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I'm going with.
All right, cool. Alrighty. So if you want to see if Dory's correct, watch along with us and join us for the next episode of Fully Functional, a TNG podcast.
Oh, goodbye.